Hi there, my name is Lyla Balthazaar, and we would like to begin by thanking you all for taking the time to learn about our research project and the conclusions we came to. I'm currently a freshman majoring in human physiology, and today I'm joined by two of my peers.
Hi, I'm Max Breaker, and I'm a freshman currently undecided, but looking into psychology and sociology.
Hi, I'm Eleanor Davis, and I'm also a freshman studying business. We're all students within the Clark Honors College taking Dr. Stephen Rust's research class, Researching Oregon Authors.
Our research was very revealing and interesting. However, we did run into some limitations. A limitation we ran into while starting our project was that the digitized archive was quite limited, so we relied heavily on secondary sources. That being said, we were able to make use of most of the digitized archive in answering our research question. At first, we wanted to look into how the perception of Le Guin's work changed over time. However, given the limited archive, we decided to focus on how Le Guin's work was perceived throughout and in response to the counterculture movement in the 1960s. Through our research in Dr. Rust's class, we noticed that The Left Hand of Darkness was written in 1969, at the end of the 60s, and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest was written in 1959, the beginning of the 60s. Because of this, we decided on our final research question being, how is Le Guin and Kesey's work affected by the counterculture movements of the 60s? We wanted to look at their work as a response to the counterculture movement and compare how they reflected the shift away from post-war ideals, given that Kesey was writing at the beginning of the movement and Le Guin at the end.
The research we conducted revealed the connections between the political events of the 60s and the works of Ursula Le Guin and Ken Kesey. Examining archives and primary sources related to the two authors was at the forefront of our research. Drafted introductions and letters by Le Guin made for a better understanding of her novel's meaning, as well as the righteous stance she took during the time. Similarly, looking at archives pertaining to Kesey, such as letters to his friends and family, showed his passion for individuality and experimentation. Additional yet obvious sources of research were simply the two novels these authors wrote. A reflection of what they mean, what actions they call for, and who their intended audiences were, provide additional support for a conclusion later made. A compilation of secondary sources regarding the events and movements of the 1960s was also helpful. Analyzing interviews and conversations with these two authors revealed telltale personality and character traits. The synthesis of all this research led to the conclusion of how Ken Kesey and Le Guin, both in their own ways, were revolutionary in a divisive time and stood for equality and individuality.
We used secondary research methods, including reputable media, news articles, and peer-reviewed journals to compile a timeline of the most relevant events of the 1960s. We also used work from the authors, as well as this secondary research, to help us understand the social norms and cultural climate, which we then tried to represent in our poster. We included a timeline to easily track the events of the 60s, and a colorful artistic background to pay homage to the literary and art movements that developed within the counterculture movement in the 60s. Our project helped us understand the literary movement of the 60s and how it related to the cultural movement. Going forward, we would like to read a larger volume of both authors' work to gain a more thorough working knowledge of their ideas and how they were perceived throughout time. We would like to thank Linda Long and all of the special collections staff for making this experience memorable and helping us conduct research in a digitized format. Thank you.